It is Tuesday, September 16th, 2025, 7 PM. I will call the city council meeting to order. Clerk Everett, would you please call the roll?
Councilman Huckabee.
Here.
Councilman Lesko Hair.
Here.
Councilman Schultz.
Here.
President Jacob.
Here.
Councilman Johnson is excused absence.
Thank you. Item 3, Pledge of Allegiance. I'll invite everybody to stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Moving on to item 4, consent agenda. The consent agenda outlined below is hereby presented for action by the city council. Items may be removed from the consent agenda by the request of any one council member. Items not removed may be adopted by one action without debate. Removed items may be taken up either immediately after consent agenda or placed later on the agenda at the discretion of council president.
I move to approve the consent agenda as listed, items 4A through 4N.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 5, public hearings. Tonight we have none. Item 6, public comment for matters on the agenda. The city council will receive comments from city residents. Comments are generally limited to 3 minutes per individual. Anyone wishing to speak is required to sign up in advance or state the following items for the record when called upon: name, address, and subject, contact matter. Contact information. No action will be taken on any of public comment unless it is on the agenda. Note for those following along on Zoom, if you wish to speak, please raise your virtual hand as the chat box is not monitored. Those on Zoom must remain muted to speak unless recognized to speak. Tonight we have no one signed up in person, so this will be a first call for anyone on Zoom. A second call for anyone following along on Zoom.
Kyle, John House,
Okay, you have the floor.
Jefferson Street, Fort Atkinson. I just saw there was a petition to make September Senior Citizen Month, or seniors, yeah. And I was just wondering why this is done halfway through September. Why didn't this get done like the 1st of September, so they'd have the whole month to work on this? That's all I have to say with this part. Thank you.
Thank you. One last call for anyone on Zoom. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Moving on to number 7, petitions, requests, and communications. 7A is review and possible action relating to a proclamation recognizing September as National Senior Citizen Month in the city of Fort Atkinson. Manager Hausman.
Thank you. Celebrated every year in September, National Senior Center Month is a time to shine a light on senior centers, showing the entire nation how vital they are to the health and well-being of our community. Senior centers have evolved since their beginnings in the 1940s through their inclusion in the Older Americans Act in 1973 and up to today, but that mission remains the same: to be the local trusted place in the community that connects people to the programs, services, and opportunities they need to age well. The Fort Atkinson Senior Center provides opportunities for social, nutritional, instructional, and leisure activities and opportunities for citizens. There is no financial impact as a result of this proclamation, and staff does recommend that the council approve the proclamation celebrating September as Senior Center Month in the city of Fort Atkinson. We do have Parks and Recreation Director Ben Dayton and Senior Center Director Chris Nye here to receive the proclamation if it's approved by the city council. And in 2026, we will try to get this on the agenda at the beginning of September. Thank you.
I move to approve the proclamation recognizing September as National Senior Center Month in the city of Fort Atkinson.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item eight. Oof, rough night. Resolutions and ordinances. 8A is review and possible action relating to. Apparently that took 3 minutes before. Review and possible action relating to the resolution requesting exemption from the county library tax for the city of Fort Atkinson. Manager Hausman again.
Thank you. The Jefferson County Board has established a county library service and does levy a county library tax. And statutes provide that a municipality can be exempt from this library tax if the municipality levies a minimum amount for public library services. Annually in September, the county calculates that minimum levy for municipalities to qualify for the exemption and provides that information to the municipalities. So the city, per their documentation, is required to appropriate at least $331,699, $331,699 to the Dwight Foster Public Library to be exempt from the tax. So the city is proposing, at this point in the budget process, the city is proposing to levy $637,000 in property taxes to fund library operations in 2026, and that amount does exceed the minimum. It represents an increase of $13,000 over the 2025 levied amount, or $624,000, or just over 2%. So this is something that is requested annually through a similar resolution. If the city council does not approve this resolution, the county may require the city to levy additional property taxes to contribute to the whole county library system. So staff does recommend that the city council adopt the resolution requesting exemption from the county library tax and direct the city clerk to provide copies of the resolution to the county clerk and the Jefferson County Library Council Administrator, who happens to also be Minetta Lippert. I'd be happy to answer any questions from the council on this matter.
I move to approve the resolution requesting exemption from the county library tax for the city of Fort Atkinson.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 8B, second and possible third final reading of an ordinance to create section 98-59 of the City of Fort Atkinson Code of General Ordinances relating to the lead lateral service line replacement. Director Navin.
Good evening. As presented on July 1st, 2025, the city of Fort Atkinson is required to complete a Wisconsin DNR approved lead service line replacement plan. A requirement of that plan is a lead service replacement ordinance. The intent and purpose of the ordinance is to create a legal authority for full replacement of lead service lines on public and private side to ensure full compliance with state and federal requirements for this program. This will ensure that the water quality at every tap at each utility customer meets the quality standards specified under federal and state law to ideally reduce the lead contaminant level to zero and to eliminate the constriction of water flow caused by mineral deposits inside lead pipes. Property owners who fail to replace the customer side lead water service line as required by this ordinance may, in accordance with the PSC chapter 185.37, have their water service discontinued to such property until the customer side lead water service line is replaced. In addition to this ordinance will allow the city to apply for funding to help offset some of the costs associated with the lead service laterals, as well as provide an opportunity for low interest loans for private side replacements. There will be no costs associated until the city's lead service line program is approved and construction begins. The ordinance committee reviewed this ordinance at the meeting on August 19th, 2025, and recommended that staff present the ordinance at the city council at future meeting. The first reading was done at the council meeting on September 2nd, 2025. Staff recommends that the city council suspend the rules to perform the third and final reading of the ordinance and adopt the ordinance creating section 98-59 of the City of Fort Atkinson Municipal Code relating to proposed lead lateral service line replacement program.
Probably know the answer to this question already, but I'll ask it anyway. Any feedback from the public since the first reading?
No, there has not been.
I move to suspend the rules and offer a third and final reading of this ordinance.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? This is a roll call vote.
Councilman Huckabee,
Aye.
Councilman Lesko Hair,
Aye.
Councilman Schultz,
Aye.
President Jekyll,
Aye. Motion carries.
And then I move to approve the ordinance to create section 98-59 of City of Fort Atkinson Code of General Ordinances relating to lead lateral service line replacement.
Second.
We have a motion in multiple seconds, so any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. That ordinance is enacted. Item 9, reports of officers, boards, and committees. 9A is city manager's report. Manager Houseman.
Thank you. The Ridgeview Estates infrastructure improvements continue as most of the utility work is now complete. The construction on the multifamily building as well as the townhome units continues with completion dates in 2026. The city's water main work on the northeast side continues as well. The residents have been very patient and that project should be completed by October 3rd, weather permitting. On September 9th, Sarah Wayert and I attended the ribbon cutting and launch of the Jefferson County Financial Empowerment Center, or FEC. The FEC is a free public service offering one-on-one financial counseling to help residents build financial stability and achieve long-term goals. The FEC is open to all adults who live or work in Jefferson County, and appointments are available here in Fort Atkinson at Madison College and can be scheduled through the county's website. So I encourage everybody to to distribute that into their communities. Because it's a great program. On September 11th, Jones Dairy Farm held a picnic for the police and fire departments, providing great food and a fun atmosphere and plenty of leftovers for the rest of city staff, which we appreciate. We sincerely appreciate their support and generosity in hosting this annual event that connects our public safety professionals with each other and with the Jones Dairy Farm organization. On September 12th, I attended the premiere of Welcome Poets, the PBS web series at the Horde Historical Museum. The web series features Fort Atkinson's most famous poets, Lorraine Niedecker and Nicholas Gulig. The series follows the Wisconsin Poet Laureate Emeritus's personal and artistic journey through Wisconsin and around the world, heavily featuring Lorraine Niedecker, Fort Atkinson, and Black Hawk Island. So it's a really great opportunity for the city here. I want to just thank everybody who was involved in writing and producing the series. It was really well done. And as well as the Friends of Lorraine Niedecker, the Fort Atkinson Community Foundation, and the Horde Historical Museum, who all supported the project. On September 13th, I attended the city's World of Wheels event at Ralph Park and the Unity Project's Fort Fall Fiesta at Jones Park. Thank you to all city staff who brought equipment or staffed a booth at these fantastic community events, including our police department, our fire department, the Public Works Operations Division, and the Parks and Recreation Department. This morning, as approved and authorized by the City Council, I signed the 5-year contract with John's Disposal for curbside garbage and collection and recycling collection services starting on January 1st. City staff, John's staff, and GFL will work together on a customer communication and transition plan over the coming months. So there'll be plenty more information about that project forthcoming. I will be attending the League of Wisconsin Municipalities annual conference in Milwaukee tomorrow through Friday. I'll be sharing Fort Atkinson's experiences with the public safety referendum from 2022 during a panel discussion, as well as learning best practices from other communities and speakers. Clerk Ebert and Director Navin will also be taking advantage of this local educational and networking opportunity over the next couple days. Fall hydrant flushing will begin on September 26th. Whenever hydrant flushing occurs, there may be a slight discoloration of water that flows from the faucet. If that does happen, running cold water for 3 to 5 minutes should be sufficient to return water color and flow to its normal state. That temporary discoloration only impacts the appearance of water and does not pose a health or safety risk. More information is available on the city's website, including details as to when they will be flushing various parts of the city. Trick or treat in the city of Fort Atkinson will be held on Sunday, October 26th from 1 to 4. There will also be a trunk or treat event on Friday, October 31st from 6 to 8 at Jones Park. And finally, please recall that there's a 5th Tuesday in September. So the next city council meeting will be on Tuesday, October 7th at 7 p.m. And the 2026 budget workshop is scheduled for Wednesday, October 8th from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. And that's all from me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Item 10, unfinished business. Tonight we have none. Item 11, new business. 11A, review and possible action relating to the rental agreement for agricultural land at the Fort Atkinson Municipal Airport. Director Navin.
Thank you. The city owns the Fort Atkinson Airport. The parcel identification numbers of said lands are 226-0614-2332-000, 226-0614-2711-002. The city has traditionally rented the agricultural land at the airport, and the current lease ends on December 1st of 2025. Staff sought bids for the agricultural land rental at the municipal airport for the term of January 1, 2026 through December 1, 2028. The lease is for 42.3 acres of land. Staff advertised the availability of the agricultural land lease in the Jefferson County Daily Union on August 22nd and August 29th of 2025. Staff also posted information on the city's website and Facebook page. The bids received were as follows. Bradlow Farms LLC, $165 per acre in 2026, $210 per acre in 2027, and $215 per acre in 2028. And Coots Farms, $201 per acre in 26, $203 per acre in 27, and $205 per acre in 28. Staff recommends that the city council authorize the city manager to execute the agricultural land lease for the Fort Atkinson Municipal Airport with Coots Farms LLC for $25,760.70 or $201 per acre in 2026, $203 per acre in 2027, and $205 per acre in 2028 for the 2026 to 2028 term.
I move to direct the city manager to execute a rental agreement for agricultural land at the Fort Atkinson Municipal Airport with Coots Farms.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11B, review and possible action on relating to a rental agreement for hunting land in the city-owned property near a wastewater treatment facility. Director Navin again.
All right. The city owns the land adjacent to the wastewater treatment facility in the town of Koshkonong. A portion of these lands totaling approximately 70 acres is available for hunting use. The parcel identification number of said lands are 0842-000, 0843-000, and 0844-002. All legal hunting is allowed with rights exclusive to the signatory of this lease or their designee. All persons on the property must carry a written signed permission of the signatory and present to any city representative if requested. Subleasing is prohibited. Restrictions on the land include no permanent structures, no earth moving, no tree removal greater than 6 inches, mowing only to establish trails of less than 6 feet, no planting, and no other use of the property. Use will only allow archery and shotgun hunting. No rifle use will be allowed. Staff sought bids for the hunting lands for a term beginning upon April through August 1, 2025. The lease is for approximately 70 acres of hunting land. Staff advertised the availability of the land in the Jefferson County Daily Union on August 22nd and August 29th of 2025. Staff also posted information on the city's website. That should be through August 1st, 2028. My apologies. The city received 3 bids for the hunting land rental. First bidder was Matthew Thompson at $31 per acre. Second bidder was Matt Christensen and Briar Cummings at $27.50 an acre in 26, $30 an acre in 27, and $32.50 in 2028. And the third one was Austin Jacobson for $14.30 an acre in 26, $17.85 in 27, and $21.45 in 2028. Note that the high bidder for the lease is a City of Fort Atkinson employee. Mr. Thompson followed the same process as other bidders, and no special treatment or information was provided to him. Staff recommends the city council authorize the city manager to execute the hunting land lease for city-owned property adjacent to the wastewater treatment facility with Matthew Thompson for $6,510 or $31 per acre in 2026 through 2028.
I move to direct the city manager to execute a rental agreement for hunting land at city-owned property near the wastewater treatment facility with Matthew Thompson.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11C, review and possible action relating to the rental agreement for agricultural land on city-owned property in the Clement Business Park. Director Navin again.
Thank you. The city owns the land in Clement Business Park. The parcel identification number of said lands are 226-0514-1633-000 and 226-0514-1632-001. The city has traditionally rented the agricultural land in the Clement Business Park that is undeveloped, and the current lease ends on December 1 of 2025. Staff sought bids for the agricultural land rental at Clement Business Park for the term of January 1, 2026 through December 1, 2028. The lease is for 26.5 acres of land. Staff advertised the availability of the agricultural land lease in the Jefferson County Daily Union on August 22nd and 29th of 2025. Staff also posted information on the city's website and Facebook page. The city received 2 bids for the agricultural land at the Clement Business Park. Bidder 1 was Wilharm Hay Sales at $250 per acre, and bidder 2, Andrew Lukey, at $210 per acre. Staff recommends that the city council authorize the city manager to execute the agricultural land lease for the lands in the Clement Business Park with Wilharm Hay Sales for $19,875 or $250 per acre for the 2026 to 2028 term.
I move to direct the city manager to execute a rental agreement for agricultural land on city-owned property at the Clement Business Park with Wilharm Hay Sales.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I apologize. What would happen if these properties get sold or developed during the term of this agreement?
As part of the agreement, we hold the right to terminate the lease at any time, so we notify the individual and like for this example, they had already made a payment ahead of time, so we just give them a reimbursement for those.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11D, review and possible action relating to the rental agreement for agricultural hay land on the city-owned property in the Clement Business Park. Director Navin again.
All right. The city owns the land in the Clement Business Park. The land can be used for hay and only. The parcel identification number of the lands are 2226-0514-1741-001, which is 11.2 acres. 226-0514-1744-000, which is 16.4 acres, and parcel 226-0514-1744-001, which is 13.8 acres. The city has traditionally rented this land for haying, and the current lease ends on December 1st of 2025. The available acreage for haying is less than the total parcel size. However, bids were solicited based on the full 41.2 acre parcel. Staff sought bids to lease the land from January 1, 2026 through December 1, 2028, and advertised the opportunity in the Jefferson County Daily Union on August 22nd and 29th of 2025, as well as on the city's website and Facebook page. 2 bids were received for the hayland rental at city-owned property in the Clement Business Park. The bids were identical, and both parties were invited to submit a best and final offer, but each declined. Staff then notified the bidders that absent new offers, the decision would be made by a coin toss. The coin toss was conducted, and Andrew Lukey was declared the winner. The bids received are as follows: Wilharm Hay Sales, $100 per acre; Andrew Lukey, $100 per acre. Staff recommends the city council authorize the city manager to execute the agricultural hay land lease for the lands in the Clement Business Park with Andrew Lukey for $24,318 or $100 per acre for the 2026 to 2028 term.
I move to direct the city manager to execute a rental agreement for agricultural hay land on city-owned property at the Clement Business Park with Andrew Lukey.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
And if my math is somewhat accurate, those 4 items together, about $75,000. So just
Any further discussion then? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. 11D, review and possible action relating to the replacement of the senior center roof. Director Navin, or Dayton, sorry.
Good evening. So following a roof leak at the senior center in July this year, we had several contractors come out and inspect the roof, which all of them all agreed that it needed a full replacement. The three contractors submitted proposals, with two of them using the same type of shingle, which came with a warranty of 5 years on workmanship and then 40 years on their material warranty. And those were Serenity Concepts and then Reliable Roofing. We also had Riedel and Sons provide a quote for a quote that had Owens Corning as their shingle manufacturer, which has a significant warranty, which is 20 years in workmanship and then 50 years of material. Both of those kind of compared and came into my mind, or came into play with I guess the quality of what we're looking for the roof, and then also providing additional peace of mind, I guess. Beyond that, they also noticed that there was some decking that needed replacement, and so we wanted to also anticipate that there will be a cost associated with that, which came out to $9,750 for like a contingency, given that we will be seeing some decking replacement. So the total proposed cost from Riedel and Sons came out to $52,706.46, which includes the replacement of that decking as a contingency. And funds for this would be used from the 2025 contingency budget, which, as you can see in the memo, would go slightly over budget, but we have some flexibility with that. So staff recommends that council approve or accept the proposal from Riedel and Sons for the replacement of the roof at the senior center at a cost not to exceed $52,706.46 using contingency funds included in the 2025 budget. I will take any questions if you have them.
Was it thought of to price out like a metal roof for more of a permanent roof on this?
No, most of our facilities have the shingle, the asphalt shingle roofing. There are a few that do have a metal roof, but no. Just for consistency across all of our facilities, I
Okay.
looked at that.
Knowing you'll probably want to have this done sooner rather than later, any concerns from any of the bidders that of having the materials available and the time to get it done this fall?
Based on what I heard, there is a turnaround point, right? So it's like 6 to 10 weeks at times. So I didn't hear the concern that they wouldn't be able to complete it, but there is a delay from, I guess, signing the agreement to actual roof on the building.
But we do anticipate it happening this year.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
I move to accept the proposal from Riedel and Sons Incorporated for the replacement of the senior center roof at a cost not to exceed $52,706.46 using contingency funds included in the 2025 budget.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just
See-
that I'm hoping they don't have to replace all the decking and then we might be within the budget.
Right. I agree with that.
Mhm.
All right. Motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 11F, review and possible action relating to the purchase of bleachers, soccer goals, and concrete work included in the Kiwanis Field Facility Improvement Project at Rock River Park. Director Dayton again.
It's all right. He did the last 5 or 10 different items. So
It rolls off the tongue.
It does.
David.
So as you recall from the last council meeting, the Kiwanis Field Improvement Project was approved through the public monument and review process. Included in your packet were the quotes for bleachers, soccer goals, and then the concrete work. And based on the timeline, we will be able to start yet this fall on the concrete after the conclusion of the youth football season. So staff would recommend that City Council approve the purchase of bleachers from BSN at $11,150, soccer goals from Keeper Goals at $6,431.75, and accept the proposal from A1 Concrete at a cost not to exceed $30,336.02.
We'll just note that all of these costs will be reimbursed by donations and grants, but because the city has to front the cost of these and our financial policies require council approval for invoices over a certain amount, that's why Ben is here tonight asking the council for this. But all of these costs will be reimbursed by Kiwanis Club or the Community Foundation through the grant process.
Yes.
Great to hear. I move to approve the purchase of bleachers from BSN for $11,150, soccer goals from Keeper Goals for $6,431.75, and concrete proposal from A1 Concrete at a cost not to exceed $30,336.02 from Kiwanis Field Facility Improvements Project.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? My only thing, I know when this came before us at the Park and Rec, I brought up with the soccer goals and the concern of netting with the deer wildlife down there getting tangled up. Will that be something that'll be taken down when not in use, or still going to be left on the soccer goals?
Just for the sake of the community use of the goals, they'll stay up during the active time that people would be playing, but at the end of the season, we would take them down anyway, just because that'll also extend the life of the net.
Okay,
But there were several discussions about that too afterwards, and it's, if they're around, it could happen,
Okay.
but
just
not a major
something
concern.
for people to keep in mind with the
Yes,
goals
absolutely.
down there. And we all know there's plenty of wildlife running in those fields.
Yes.
Any further discussion then? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right, 11G, review and possible action relating to the agreement between the city of Fort Atkinson and the Fort Atkinson firefighters Local 580 for the 2026-2029 contract, sorry.
Staff recommends that the council not take action on this item at this time.
We will move on then. Item 11H, review and possible action relating to the 2026 South Main Street Pedestrian Path Construction Bid Award. Director Navin.
All right, thank you. The Safe Routes to School study completed in 2016 indicated the need for a number of improvements within the city for safer pedestrian access. The completion of this study qualifies the city to pursue grant funding to implement certain elements of the plan. So the city submitted a grant application in March of 2022 under the Transportation Alternatives Program, or the TAP program, and was awarded $961,000, or 81% of the cost of the $1.2 million project extending a path along South Main Street. The project area beginning at Rockwell and moving south to the city limit encompasses about 4,600 linear feet with only 1,400 linear feet of sidewalk on one side. An additional 700 linear feet in the town of Koshkonong just before the Hackbarth Road intersection. MSA was awarded the design contract for this project on February 20th of 2024. Designs are for the street to be narrowed within the city limits, curb and gutter removed and replaced on the one side, and repaved in conjunction with the project to accommodate an 8 to 10-foot path on the east side. The current street's over 40 feet wide, more than enough to accommodate parking and travel lanes. In March of 2025, city staff and MSA held a public information meeting related to this project. City staff then approved the design, and request for proposals was issued by MSA for the construction of this project on July 28th of 2025. 3 firms responded with proposals for the project. The 3 proposals were provided by Rock Road Companies, Inc., Parisi Company Construction LLC, and Forest Landscaping and Construction Inc. Proposals were evaluated and found to be largely equal. The decision then rested on the cost proposal, with the low bid being Rock Road Companies, Inc. The total cost of the city's portion of this construction project comes out to $2,515,418.98. After eligible grant funding is applied and contingency construction oversight costs are added, the city's portion comes out to $1,563,494.13. Road construction cost comes to $747,077.19. Staff intends to pay for this project using levied from Fund 5, borrowed funds, and funds attributed to the water, wastewater, and stormwater at their respective costs of $678,139 for water, $39,589.77 for wastewater, and $98,687.78 for stormwater. Construction is expected to begin in 2026. Staff recommends the city council award the 2026 Main Street Ped Path work to Rock Road Companies, Inc. in an amount not to exceed $2,723,030.53, and authorize the city manager to execute the contract. You will see in the attachments, as well as the attachment that was sent out later by Manager Houseman, a better breakdown to help understand some of those costs if there are any questions.
Would it be a stretch to think that having gone through this Safe Routes to School process that that helped receive the grant money? I mean, that,
Yes,
yeah.
as,
Okay.
as well as the other sidewalk grant that that the city also received.
Yeah, I mean, I'm been around here long enough to have served on that panel that was looking at that, and I recall at the time there were a bunch of things identified, and we knew that it would take a while for many of them to come to fruition. It's nice to see that we haven't lost sight of that initiative, and this is nice to see it. It is, I don't recall exactly if this was identified as a part of that plan, but it was part of the discussion, as I recall, in that the schools in that area, which there are two leading right directly down to that, and a third not too far away, that there is a need for a safer route to those schools, for sure.
Yeah, this was indeed identified in that program. It is the first step in us taking action on that program.
Was also identified in the city's comprehensive plan, as well as our CORP, which is the Comprehensive Outdoor Recreation Plan. It's also identified in the town of Koshkonon's comprehensive plan. The town chair was at our public information meeting back in March and brought a poster from 25 years ago when their plan was adopted. So this section of bike ped path has been in a lot of plans for a lot of years. So it is very exciting to hopefully see it move forward.
I move to approve the bid for the 2026 South Main Street pedestrian path work to Rock Road Companies Incorporated in an amount not to exceed $2,723,030.53, and authorize the city manager to execute the contract.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
It's a lot of money, but it's not going to get cheaper waiting.
Oh, it's not.
So I'm glad to see this going forward.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I agree. It is a lot of money, and it's really nice to see that the work that went into it and
Yep.
the amount of assistance, the funding that
Yeah.
that helps make it possible.
Mhm.
I think that's the biggest thing, is seeing how much we're actually getting out of the state. Everybody complains about the state, but they're actually chipping in a little bit here and there, so.
Good.
All right, all motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11I, review and possible action relating to the contract with KL Engineering for Banker Road realignment design. Director Navin again.
Right. All right, so this contract was originally awarded to Quam Engineering on February 6th of 2024 as part of the design of Banker Road Development Public Infrastructure Project. After this original contract was awarded, the city was notified of the $1.4 million STP urban construction grant to realign and reconstruct Banker Road with urban cross sections. An addendum was made to the original Quam Engineering contract for the Banker Road Development Design Contract following the Wisconsin DOT process on September 3rd of 2024. As noted in the attached September 3rd, 2024 addendum memo to council, Quam Engineering has not previously performed work under this process. As such, the fee provided was an estimated fee subject to revisions as the process moved forward. City staff have worked with Quam Engineering through the project over the past 12 months and despite collaboration could not reach an agreement on financial cost proposals. Quam Engineering approached city staff about ending the contract for the associated work and asked city staff if there would be interest in securing a contract with KL Engineering to take over the project, as Quam had already subcontracted with KL Engineering for portions of the project. Additionally, KL Engineering was familiar with the project and has experience required to successfully complete the project associated with the DOT. City staff met with KL Engineering and Quam Engineering to discuss the potential handoff and work that needed to be completed to meet the deadlines of the project, which ultimately led to the city staff bringing the attached proposal to council for review and approval. The design contract from KL Engineering is for an amount not to exceed $237,500. This design contract will be paid for using funds from TIF number 9. Specifically, city staff estimates that about $430,000 remain after netting revenues and expenditures associated with the design and construction of Trillium Drive, Hawthorne Drive, Marigold Drive, and Peony Place. The tables below show the revenues and expenditures for those roads. Staff proposes to use $237,500 of these remaining funds for the design of the Banker Road realignment. Any leftover funds will remain in TID 9 and be used for the construction of Banker Road in 2027. Staff recommends the City Council approve the design contract for Banker Road realignment project to KL Engineering in an amount not to exceed $237,500 using funds from TID number 9 and authorize the city manager to execute.
I move to approve the design contract for the Banker Road realignment project to KL Engineering in an amount not to exceed $237,500 using funds from TID number 9 and authorize the city manager to execute.
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I don't want to lose sight of the fact that it's another good example of a project that includes significant grant funds to make it work. So I know we've recognized staff's work in the past to achieve those grants, but it's nice to see them now putting to use and seeing the fruits of that effort.
Do we know how much work has roughly been completed up to this point on Banker Road, or like in their design phase, or?
I don't have all those numbers yet. I did ask Quam Engineering to provide me with everything they have done to date on that one so that I have a better understanding of that one.
Okay.
There are a few things that Quam Engineering was already set up to do, such as the Phase 2 plat, the subdivision plat, which includes the extent of those roadways. So they'll stay on to do those things through their other contract. But this KL Engineering, obviously road design is also not getting any cheaper. And there are additional complications when we go through the DOT grant process. So that's why this contract seems to be a little bit more expensive than some of our other design contracts. It adds some complication on the design side to meet the DOT standards as well.
Biggest thing I've heard with any grant application is the more higher you get in the state level, the more fine paper and fine print you have to cut through. Any further discussion then? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11J, review and possible action relating to the agreement between the city of Fort Atkinson and the town of Koshkonong for the fire EMS services.
Good evening. The Fort Atkinson Fire Department provides fire and emergency medical services to the city and parts of the surrounding townships of Hebron, Koshkonong, Sumner, Oakland, and Jefferson. This is over 104 square miles and 18,000 people we protect. The current agreement for our EMS contract expires at the end of this year, and we have a fire protection contract that expires at the end of 29. The intent of the new contract was to combine both of these services into a single long-term contract with equitable cost sharing. We began negotiations in April of 25 and we concluded late last month. And as of tonight, all 5 townships have signed and approved this contract. The new contract establishes a fair and equitable distribution of our operating capital costs for each township in the city. Our costs are divided among 5 areas: fire operations, EMS operations, shared fire capital equipment, EMS capital equipment, and town-only capital equipment. Operating costs are now based on good faith budget estimates provided by us with no true up. And this was compared to the contract before, which was a CPI plus formula. Cost sharing is based on assessed value, population, and incident responses for each area. And the city's covering about 68% of the cost of the department right now. All capital equipment now will remain property of the city, but the cost will be shared amongst all users and amortized over long periods. We now have fire protection and inspection activities aligned amongst the city and the townships for consistency. We have a 3-year notification requirement for any changes in service boundaries in part or in whole to establish stability in our service area. As we discussed before, there's a 5-year cost reallocation. In 5 years, this will update the criteria of assessed value, population, and call volume, and will also reproject our capital equipment costs and needs. So finally, this 10-year contract provides a lot of long-term stability for our fire and EMS within our coverage area. So staff recommends the city council take separate action to approve each agreement for the fire and EMS services with the towns of Koshkonong, Oakland, Jefferson, Heber, and Sumner as presented, and authorize the city manager to execute.
I will note that all of these agreements are identical with the exception of the map and legal description of the area. So, Chief did a great job attending a lot of town board meetings over the last several months, including Sumner, who met just on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. So thank you, Chief, for your dedication to continuing to support those towns and attend those meetings to make sure this gets over the finish line.
Yeah, the light at the end of the tunnel is very
Yes.
visible now.
Yep.
I also applaud you for the work and Manager Hausman too for the work that went into this. And as same thing to the townships for their partnership in this. From what I can tell and from what I've heard throughout the process, this is a good agreement for all parties.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
I move to approve the agreement between the city of Fort Atkinson and the town of Koshkonong for fire EMS services and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying none. Aye, sorry.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Don't worry, folks, I'm here all night. 11K, review and possible action relating to the agreement between the city of Fort Atkinson and the town of Hebron for fire EMS services. This is cookie cutter, so
I move to approve the agreement between the city of Fort Atkinson and the town of Hebron for fire EMS services and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement.
Second.
motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11L, review and possible action relating to an agreement between the city of Fort Atkinson and the town of Oakland for fire EMS services.
I move to approve the agreement between the city of Fort Atkinson and the town of Oakland for fire EMS services and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. 11M, review and possible action relating to the agreement between the city of Fort Atkinson and the town of Jefferson for fire EMS services.
I move to approve the agreement between the city of Fort Atkinson and the town of Jefferson for fire EMS services and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. 11N, review and possible action relating to the agreement between the city of Fort Atkinson and the town of Sumner for fire EMS services.
I move to approve the agreement between the city of Fort Atkinson and the town of Sumner for fire EMS services and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. That concludes those. All right, 11O, review and possible action relating to a condominium plat for Habitat for Humanity located at 700 Schumacher Way. Director Drager.
Oh, thank you. If we recall, back in 2023, this parcel along with a few other were created along with Schumacher Way. This is a DR8 zoned parcel. There's currently a building being constructed on it as we speak. Or I shouldn't say, I hope they're not there now, but they are currently working on it during the regular business hours, I hope. But this here before you is the condominium plat where they're creating two separate ownership units out of that 2-unit building that's currently being created. There's also a detached accessory structure that's also going to be divided for individual ownership as part of this condominium plat. Financial analysis, there's no direct analysis, but it is creating new taxing parcels to support the property tax revenue. It is meeting all the minimum setbacks for this DR8 zoning, and city staff does recommend approval. I should have mentioned that the Plan Commission did view this on September 9th and did recommend approval as well. Welcome any questions you have, but
Any reason why condo versus zero lot line?
Habitat for Humanity, this is kind of how they handle their construction projects. It creates a unified ownership of the land where it makes those individual units a little easier for them to maintain. And then with that, as far as I understand, then they're equally part of their condominium requirements. They pay in monthly into that, and then it's maintainable as a unit or as a whole rather than individual ownership.
Okay.
Of the entire parcel anyways.
Okay.
I move to approve the condominium plat for Habitat for Humanity located at 700 Schumacher Way.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 12, miscellaneous. Tonight we have none. Item 13, public comment for matters not on the agenda. The council will receive comments from city residents. Comments are limited to 3 minutes per individual. Anyone wishing to speak is required to sign up in advance or state the following when called upon: name, address, and subject matter, and contact information. No action will be taken on public comments. Those for you following on Zoom, if you wish to speak, please raise your virtual hand as the chat box is not monitored and you must remain muted unless recognized to speak. We didn't have anyone signed up in person. We will first call for on Zoom.
John House, Kyle,
Okay.
104 Jefferson Street, Fort Atkinson. I was excited. I saw the county lawnmowers out in the Ramesh subdivision mowing down all the fields out there. What kind of baffles me though is there's 7 different sections of them Pragmatis, and they only mowed down one of them. So I guess I'm kind of curious as to why they were left standing. I guess that's what they did with the rest of it looks great. And shouldn't that be turned into a rental unit for farmland where it was, handled before? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else that would wish to speak via Zoom? Last call. Seeing none, public comment is closed. Item 14, claims, appropriations, and contract payments. 14A, review and possible action relating to the verified claims as presented by the Director of Finance and authorized payment.
I move to approve the verified claims as presented.
Second.
Motion and a second. This is a roll call vote.
Councilman Huckabee,
Aye.
Councilman Lesko Hair,
Aye.
Councilman Schultz,
Aye.
President Jekyll.
Aye, motion carries. Item 15, adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight.